It's time for the Mic'd Up Podcast with your host.
I'm Constantine, your Tampa Realtor, and this show is for local entrepreneurs to showcase their businesses and discuss the successes and setbacks of running a thriving business.
You're listening to
The Mic'd Up Podcast.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Mic'd Up Podcast. Theo freaking PAPAPANOS.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, how are you?
How are you, Michael?
Very good, very nice.
Very
I'm very
nice.
excited to have you here today.
Excites too. Very good. Very good,
Well, that
Michael.
lasted about 10 seconds till we got
I
into
like
that
the
one.
party time.
So, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure there's probably one person out there in Trinity. CHRISTOS is the family-owned restaurant here in Trinity. Theo is basically the mayor of Trinity. Everybody knows him. Everybody likes him. I honestly don't know a single person that this family has not helped, supported, or fed in some way, shape, or form in this town. The restaurant is the closest place that I think I've ever seen in my life to the TV show Cheers, where everybody knows your name. You walk inside. Literally every person, you already know what they're going to order.
Yep.
And that says a lot about the success and the sweat equity that you guys have put into it. So, Theo, welcome.
Hey, everybody. Hey,
very good to have you. So, this is going to get weird.
It's a great time.
This is going to get very weird very quick.
Very fast.
So, you guys opened up in 2003.
It is, what date are we on right now? September 20th. Yep, October 13th. We opened up 2003.
You were in high school, if I remember.
I was in high school.
You had
I
like
was
that
at Mitchell.
98 degrees Backstreet Boys haircut.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Had the clear sunglasses and the matching Puma suits.
Oh my God. If there was ever a picture in Webster's
I have
Dictionary
it.
of douchebag, that was you.
I have the picture.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
But I like.
Now you met your wife in the restaurant.
I did.
God, I
Sure
miss
did.
those days. Like pre-kids when she would be behind the register just yelling at you. It was some of the best days of my life
That's
watching.
why I love her.
It was so
She's
good.
my fighter.
Oh, she's amazing.
She is.
Yeah.
God
Talk
bless.
about, seriously, marrying way out of your league and continues to get that way. We were talking before we started recording about our wives. They keep getting better looking, and you and I are turning into raccoons.
Or terrible.
No.
Terrible.
I honestly don't know why they're still around. I don't get it. I mean, no idea.
Oh, boy.
So anyway, back to your restaurant. So you guys are the only restaurant in Trinity, only business actually that I know of in Trinity, that you guys were voted the best of the best in Tampa Bay every single year.
For about 16 years straight, yeah.
Yeah,
17.
in multiple categories.
Yes.
Generally family restaurant or restaurant, breakfast, lunch, stuff like that is what you get the most.
Yep.
But you guys were voted like number one. I don't know how many years in a row.
We tried. Yeah, we're open 19 years October, so it's pretty much up until last year through COVID. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a run. It's been a long run.
How many governors have visited? You've had a couple of like governors of the state of Florida came and visited your place, right?
Came to, was it 4 years ago? 4 years ago, right? I think when you were there.
Yeah.
When Rick Scott came by.
Yeah.
believe
Didn't you have DeSantis come by?
No, not DeSantis.
I thought you had DeSantis come
He
by.
can come by, of course. I always welcome.
I heard rumor he come late after work. Say hello.
Hi. But yes, we did. We've had some people come through, but everybody's very supportive of all of us.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, well, I think that's a lot to do with your family and how you guys support, because you go through that plaza and there's so many business, especially like right now, there's a lot of vacant spots inside of that plaza.
Yeah.
But you guys have been, usually it's like Publix is the staple of anywhere they go. But in all honesty, CHRISTOS brings in a lot more cars than Publix does with, and no offense to Publix, I still shop there, but it's always packed whenever you guys are open. There's always a line outside on Sundays and Saturdays, but you guys support this community more than any other business. And it's not the support that's public, which I like, because if I go and volunteer or something, I don't want people to know about it.
Yep. That's the most important thing.
And you guys do it very quietly.
On a weekly basis.
Well, most people do it quietly. You're pretty loud, actually.
Well,
yeah.
Look, we saw this through COVID that we don't know what was going to happen. We had no idea what was opening up. You saw it when you came by. People were stopping by, donating, helping out. And we just did our regular thing. Help out as much as we can. Give to our nurses, give to our law enforcement, give to our military, give to families who didn't have money. I mean, most people didn't know if they were going to lose their home, keep their home. So if a warm meal helps them get through their day, then that's what we're here for. You know, it's obviously my dad came here, from Greece when he was 16 with nothing, by himself, not a lick of English.
He started out in New York, right?
Started out in New York.
Yeah.
And he's worked his whole life. You know, it's like we always said, it's not about money. It's, you know, we give, and we don't need credit for it. You know, God's blessed us with our health. It's the most important thing. We always want people to come in and make sure that when they come in, that they forget about their problems. They want to make sure when they come in, it's at home, hanging out with all of us, eating, telling us their stories, getting whatever it is to help them get through their day. That's what we're here for.
You know, I wanted to touch on the COVID thing later, but I think it's probably good to start out with that because it's still so fresh.
Yep.
And so with this podcast, everybody I have in here is a business owner, and I like for them to discuss the setbacks and successes of what they've encountered in running a business. Now, I can't think of a bigger setback for a restaurant than what we just went through. And to some extent, we are still going through, even though we have the greatest governor in the entire United States that has allowed business owners to thrive while others are suppressing them.
He saved us.
You know, tell me about from the inside, what was that like? When COVID first hit, you guys went down to, I think, 0. It was takeout only. Then it went to 25%.
So we did 0. It was only takeout only. And then we did, when it went 25, 50, 75, we didn't open up until the governor said that if you put any of the barriers, like the fiberglass or
the plexiglass, right,
that you could open 100%. So we weren't, you know, when they said 25%, we're like, well, everybody was scared. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't want to put anybody at risk either. So we said, you know what, let's let everybody else open up. We're going to continue doing what we're doing. We're doing a great takeout business. Our community was a huge, huge thing. I mean, they were behind us all the way. There wasn't a day that somebody didn't come by and say, hey, we just want to donate this to you just for everything you've done. That really helped us every day. You know, and then of course, it's like we said, God guided us. Hospital needed food, boom, we'll drop it to them. This guy needed food, we'll give it to him. You know, and obviously the community supported us through that. And then we're like, well, 50%. We're going to have a bunch of people coming in at 50%. It's still going to be very hard to get through. Why put our servers and our employees at risk? We don't know what's happening. So we're going to wait till we can get back to 100%. We'll still be doing takeout. And then once we open up 100%, it was rock and roll. I mean, we opened up and it was like COVID never happened. We were so busy, you know? And
I think the best part of that period that I remember was people would show up in your parking lot.
Oh yeah,
I remember. Yep. I remember. I showed up with
that was the best.
Monica from Camel Company and her family and Jamie and all them. And then there was just people on tailgates. It was honestly, literally like going to a drive-in movie.
It was,
but everybody was just ordering because they couldn't go in the restaurant, but there was no rule against sitting in the parking lot.
Correct.
So we brought full tables, turned it into almost like Thanksgiving. It was amazing. I honestly
loved it. That was one of my favorite parts through being shut down through the pandemic. Definitely brought a lot of people together. Family wise, you know, every time we'd open up the door. We don't know what was coming in. We don't know if we're going to have one customer or 1,000 that day. You know, you open a door and you go outside and you see cars and trucks just lined up in the parking lot with folding tables and chairs, music playing and people eating. It was the best. I mean, not to say I missed that time. You know, now it's people come in and don't realize how understaffed we are still. And what we go through on a daily basis, shortages of this, shortages of that, and people aren't as nice as they used to be.
How much staff did you guys have at your peak? Like, what was the most amount of employees you guys ever had?
So we've always been around between 15 and 18.
And what was the lowest that you got to, like during pandemic level?
So during COVID, we kept everybody. For the most part, only a couple left.
You rotated them though, right?
We rotated them. Everybody worked 4 days. Mm-hmm. At least everybody had a shift. Like I said, a lot of customers came by and left big tips for this, you know, for the servers to help them get through. You helped out everybody. You came and you did it every day.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Again, you were there, you know, and a lot of people that I didn't expect to do it came through, and that helped. but we're still suffering from it. It's not like we still have our daily struggles. It's not easy.
It's through the past couple of years, it's kind of been difficult to navigate a couple of things, for me anyway, and for my family with businesses, whether they advertise specific things that we don't agree with, or
right.
Trinity's a very small place, and there were restaurants that were actually keeping the tips of the servers.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting. And I won't go there anymore. When I found out about that and I validated it, I wanted to say it wasn't, I wanted to make sure it wasn't just a rumor or something like that, because you guys legitimately were giving away food out of your family's pocket, while at the same time, your servers, some of them were actually making more money because the customers came in, they wanted to support them so much.
They were very lucky.
But when you hear of these other restaurant owners, and these are people that have big restaurants, and they were just saying, something, you can keep up to X amount of dollars. I forgot what the dollar amount was, but we're going to keep everything above and beyond that. Mm-hmm. It was just, how do you do that to people that are literally, it was a tough time. Again, it was a tough time.
This is why I always say we're here 19 years for a reason. We're here to help. This is who we are. We're very, like we said, my dad and my mom have both worked their entire life. You know them very one-on-one basis. They're very tough, very strong-minded, but they will give everything that they have to anybody. They're never hesitant on that.
I do want to talk about your parents a little bit, because I've kind of become a member of your family in somewhat of a way. Your parents have, they're so unique, and to me, they are literally the footprint of what you do for your children.
100%.
They start a business, they teach you a business, they hold you accountable to work and know the business, and then I think their ultimate goal is to turn that over to you guys
every day.
But here's where I take it to a personal side of things. I remember when the economic downturn hit, and I went and I was in your restaurant. I sat there. I just asked your dad, "Can I sit in a table?" Because I had to get out of my house, because
2010 or
no, it was like 2008
or 8,
2007, 2008, and that's when the bank that I was working for shut down operations in the U.S. The lending company that I was working for, they shut down operations in the U.S. And I'm like, what am I going to do? There was no jobs to be had, period. And I sat there and I was like, I'm not an emotional person, but I was like on borderline of tears, because I had a wife, I had 2 babies at home. My kids were 3 and 2 at the time. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I just sat down, talked to your dad, and he just sat there. And your dad can be your best friend or your worst enemy, but he's never going to lie to you. Ever. And he just looks me in the eye and he's like, what are you worried about, Michael? And I just, sorry, I couldn't go too long without doing it. And so I sat there and he's telling me, and I just saw that he believed in me, which then lit a fire under me. And I went back into banking for a short period of time. And a couple of years later, I sat down and had the exact same conversation with him. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like somebody kind of, telling me where I have to be, what time, all this other stuff. And I was talking to him about different things. I was going to open up Peach Wave, the yogurt shop.
Yep.
And then, he looks at me and goes, why you want to do that for? That's going to keep coming out. I can't help myself. And so, we're talking, and then I talked to him about real estate, and he's like, he just led the path. Mm-hmm. And watching the fire in your dad's eyes, because he loves what he does.
He does.
He loves that restaurant.
He does.
And that's
he loves everything about it.
Right. He loves the camaraderie. He loves the clients.
Everything.
He loves making the menus. He loves getting. He's that guy. He is the person that immigrated to America, that built the damn dream, and he's passing that dream on to his kids. And I'm so grateful that I picked up a part of that. Yep. So tell me a little bit, like, just growing up in that family, about your mom and dad and
so we didn't
your brother.
We didn't have the normal, our mom and dad 9 to 5. My mom was a nurse. My dad was in the restaurants. So we'd wake up on a daily thing. My grandmother was at home with us, and my mom was at work. My dad was at the restaurant. We'd see him at 10 o'clock at night when he'd get home again. He worked every day. He was nonstop. For us, the most important thing was when he used to come and.
That was in New York?
In New York.
Or down here?
No, that was in New York, in upstate. And he'd surprise us, even if it was for 10 minutes at a baseball game. That's who he was. He made sure he made his presence known for 10 minutes just to be there that he made it. And he goes straight back and work all night, come home, go straight to work in the morning. My mom, same way. She was on call all the time. And they're very stern. They're very
When he
straightforward.
came to your baseball games, did he still have the button-up shirt with all the hair hanging out?
No, he wore that was a chef outfit.
Was it the chef outfit?
Yeah, the apron and everything. Very good.
Very nice.
They're very hard workers.
Yeah.
They are extremely hardworking and they're very straightforward. They're very tough. And, sometimes they feel like they're a little edgy with people.
They're passionate.
They're very passionate.
Mm-hmm.
And they love what they do and they love people. They love helping. That's who they are. Sometimes they may come off rough to people because it's their business. And I understand. They've worked for everything. We had a store in Land O'Lakes that, Dad obviously lost. We lost some funds through there. But that was economy. Economy was crashing and we felt it. That was a big pinch on all of us. We felt it. My brother, same way. He's a hard worker. He works every day. He's shows up. He does his part. Same as I work every day. I do my part.
Let me tell you something about your brother. Eric, his mind never stops.
Ever. He's unbelievable, actually.
I can't think of almost anyone that if you're broken on the side of the road, that would come get you faster than Eric.
Yeah.
And Eric's got a different side to him also, but he
seems edgy, but he's not.
He will 100% help anybody out at any given time. I remember years ago, he took a John boat when now Newport Richie flooded.
Yep.
And he's like bringing people water and stuff.
Yep.
And I'm looking, I'm like, what the hell did you get a damn John boat?
Yep.
He
That's
partnered
who he
up with
is.
Joe and stuff like
Yep.
that. But that guy, there's going to come a time, because I know your brother's he's an inventor. He loves to constantly tinker with things, and
He
I really
does.
thought he was going to take like the clownfish thing big, because he's ridiculously talented with that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And he's very, very smart too. But he's going to come up with something one day, and I don't know when that day is going to be.
It'll be there.
And he's going to invent like the new ShamWow.
Yeah, he
or
may.
something.
He may. He's brilliant. When it comes to that kind of stuff, there is no touching him.
I want one promise from you that you're actually going to be like the hype guy on TV for it, though.
The guy all jacked up.
I want to.
I have the ShamWow. I can do it.
There's going to be something that he's going to invent.
Yeah.
He's had the fishing lure. He's had the cell phone thing.
sucking,
You guys
yep.
got the spices now,
Spices are doing
which,
great.
by the way, is sold out Stark and Market over a weekend.
They did very
100
good.
spices gone.
We have 100. We've sold a couple hundred spices total. Yeah, we've been moving them pretty good. They're really good. And again, I put it together. It blends well with everything. And
Now, you guys made those. You guys actually sat around
Yep.
and physically made what are the spices that you offer, so people that are listening can hear?
Oh, my brother made the spice. He's the scientist behind everything, always. Like we said, he gets bored. He sits in the back and comes up with something. The spice is really good. I don't have one in front of me to tell you what the ingredients were. I forgot at the restaurant.
No, but just like that, you have like an aioli spice.
We have spicy aioli. We have our barbecue. We have our buffalo. But our homemade spice that we use, besides our homemade Greek dressing, which is the best, and our tzatziki. That's my dad's recipes. He's been making those from scratch. Nobody can touch it. There's nobody around that can touch that dressing or tzatziki. But the spice literally goes with everything. It's got I'm trying to remember what goes in it. It's our Christos special. I just can't remember what goes in it right now. I don't have it in front of me.
You act like you've been working all day.
I did work all day.
Come on.
I did. I was there.
How many menus did you throw out today?
Executive.
I know you weren't cooking today.
Executive cashier.
Executive cashier.
Yes. Yesterday I was cooking.
Yeah.
But today I am EC. I am the executive cashier.
How many paper cuts on your hands from the menus
I have
today?
a 1. I have a 2, 3. I got to get ready.
You invite a specialist from Trinity Hospital to go ahead and butterfly stitch your.
I butterfly
your paper cut?
myself.
Very nice.
Very good story. You take it, put on the heat, and it closes. It burns, but it closes.
A medical 101.
Doctor.
Oh, you are a practitioner.
Practitioner.
Yes, very good.
Very good practice. Very good.
Always goes
Michael.
this way. It always goes this way.
I don't know why.
I before we even started recording, I'm like, we're not going there. We've been there about 5 times so far.
Yeah.
We're going to go there about 10 more times before it's over.
I was driving here. I was like, hey, Michael, I see you.
So going back. All right. So I want to go back to your parents, because your dad was in the restaurant industry in New York.
Yep.
What brought them down to Florida?
My brother was graduating, obviously, and he was going to Eckerd to play baseball. And my mom surprised all of us and sold the house. Did not say anything to anybody. Sold the house, tell my dad, tell my brother, and we all moved down here. Just better us. I mean, issues, families, the whole nine, how it goes up north.
Yeah.
So we took a shot, moved down here, and then we originated.
It doesn't surprise me that your mother would do that. For some reason, it just doesn't surprise me because I'm thinking of it from a different area because I love your mother. She
tell you how the CHRISTOS started. We have the G&K Cafe first, which was a little road by the old Family Fitness.
Is that where the omelet came from? The G&K on your menu?
Omelet, yep.
Son of a biscuit.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we sold it.
Yeah.
And Eric was doing something based on what we were doing. And my dad was like, all right, maybe we retire. Nope. Rula signed lease for a new restaurant. And we found that on a cruise.
Really?
Yep. We came back from the cruise ship. It was my brother, my mom, my dad, and I. We were driving down 54. And she looks over and she's like, there it is. My dad's like, where? Where you see the restaurant, Rula? And she's like, right there. It was a cow pasture. He's like, when you going to tell me?
Yeah, that's before Publix went in.
Yep, before Publix went in.
Yeah.
It was literally nothing. Grass.
I think you guys were like one of the first 5 to actually move in there.
We were first open.
It was like you guys.
We had to wait for it was us.
You had Publix, Hallmark.
Carlucci's. Well,
Yeah.
it was us, and then Carlucci's and them came in at the time. Leaning Tower. Yeah.
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 That's crazy. And now like all that parking lot space is now bank, Chick-fil-A, bank.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. They have a lot of restaurants in our plaza. They're all good family pop shops, though, man.
Yeah.
Everybody supports each other in that plaza. Luckily, everybody's been good.
So you guys came down because
99.
ultimately your mother made the decision, is what
Correct.
it sounds like. Your brother had an opportunity in baseball.
Yep.
And see that to me, I never knew that story, but that encompasses your family because your parents give everything to you guys.
Everything.
And what's great now is that like I don't have this in my life, so I really get a kick out of watching it. They give everything to your kids.
Yeah.
They are the greatest grandparents. They literally stop everything they're doing for recitals, for baseball, for whether it's your kids or Eric's kids, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And it's like fun to watch, and to see those photos, on social media where they're holding hands, walking down a beach.
I can't
or ice
imagine
cream.
them not being here doing that.
Yeah,
that's the hardest thing to go through thinking about that. Hope they're here
Don't get all morbid.
I'm not getting morbid.
What's wrong with you?
I'm not getting morbid.
You were about to get friggin' emotional on my show.
I'm not getting emotional.
You were about to. I saw it.
All right, change the subject. We go back to Pop and Mom. They're very good with the kids. They are. Eric and I have been extremely blessed.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, they have given their life for us.
Yeah.
Do and I don't know what else to say.
And it seems like that's almost a part of Greek culture, but I think your parents have taken it to a much different level. And like I've seen them do this with other people. Like
they will help anybody. They will, as long as they have it, they will give it. They will help anybody. I've seen my dad burned a few times because of it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm well aware, unfortunately. Yeah.
But that's who they are. Like I said, he's worked for everything his entire life.
But why would you want to get rid of that, I mean, that's a side to people that you just don't, I wouldn't want to get rid of that side to me, and I've been burned a few times.
Yep.
You try to do the right
same way
thing.
though, man. You give. There's not a time I can call you. You never say no. Ever.
Don't paint the picture like I'm a nice guy.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's probably why Jamie married you, honestly.
No, she married me. True story. Went to the ATM when I was a corporal in the Marine Corps. We went to the ATM. I had $234. I'll never forget it in my bank account. Her eyes got so big. She was an island girl in Hawaii. She's like, oh my God, this guy's rich. She got after me for my $234. She moved a toothbrush in like within
Jamie.
days.
Poor Jamie.
Oh,
that's what Lynette thought I think about me too. But she loves me.
She does.
She loves me.
I know. I can't deny it. She does.
She's too beautiful. I get it.
Did you show her your $234?
No, I think I had less.
You had less?
I think I had like $64.
She really loves you then.
She fell in love with the Caesar wrap at the restaurant.
It was the son of a bitch. I didn't know about the Caesar wrap.
Yep. She loved the Caesar wrap. Lynette loved the Caesar wrap.
Yep.
She did. She did. Oh man.
One thing about your family, and it's right on the front of your place, not so much going back to COVID, because this happened long before COVID. You guys always have supported law enforcement, military, first responders.
Always.
I always see, okay, and it's a good thing, but I always see police cars, fire trucks,
Always.
nurses inside of that restaurant. And rarely, if ever, I could be wrong, but they generally don't pay. And school teachers, you guys supported a lot of school, some of which, by the way, and I don't mind talking about this, some of which take advantage, you know, and I don't like to see that happen, because when you reach your hand out and then you say, hey, you know, appreciate you in the community, and then you get 10 other hands saying, hey, I heard you did this. But for you guys specifically, what was the big draw for
So we've never
military police stuff like that?
stems from my dad again. Coming here, not having anything. You know, being an immigrant on Ellis Island, becoming a citizen. He is so proud to be an American. I don't think there's anybody more proud than he is to be an American citizen.
I would agree.
Honestly, forget being military, whatever else. He himself, I don't think there's anybody out there that loves this country more than he does. And again, probably because of where he came from to where he is now.
Mm.
But he's always said, without these guys, women, we have nothing. They're here to help us and protect us. And he will always help and back them no matter what. He always looks at it as, hey, you know, they're here. They always protect us. If we need something, they're here. They never say no. You know, when we had our storms, the state troopers and the sheriff's office were coming by when my parents were sleeping, and they were literally just sitting outside of the building.
Mm.
When we were, you know, they were having issues with riot, whatever was happening. Cops came by and they stayed right by the restaurant. They didn't even hesitate. You know, and for my dad, that's a big respect thing. And, you know, obviously all of them, our nurses, our teachers, our cops, our military, everybody's overworked and underpaid.
Yeah.
It's the truth. I'm not trying to bash any community, but it is the truth.
I don't
Everybody's
know who
overworked.
I don't know who worked harder during COVID, law enforcement or nurses. Because I used to see the nurses, you know, and
I remember seeing them come in crying.
you see, I mean, you'd see them, and I couldn't tell if like the bags under their eyes were from crying, or if the bags under their eyes were literally from just working so many shifts.
Yep.
And then I remember the day, like, we drove food over to Trinity Hospital and whatever, and there was two nurses and a law enforcement officer there, and you just saw it on their eyes. And we just there's nothing we could say. We literally just went up, hey,
Yeah, we sat there silently.
here's for the first floor or second floor, and you just couldn't say anything because you just saw the fatigue. But at the same time, if you think back 2 years ago, with all the ridiculously stupid riots that cops were having to deal with in Tampa and St. Pete and even downtown Newport Richey, with ridiculous protests that were going on. No, I'll call a spade a spade. It isn't whatever it was. It was, you know, kids who always got a trophy instead of actually having to win things in life. And
the way we were raised.
Yeah, exactly. They just never got a beating, you know, and sometimes it takes that. But I talked to a couple of those guys. We have a lot of very, very, you know, common friends. And some of the stories that I would hear were just, I mean, these guys wake up. And I think that a specific part of the public feels as though law enforcement and military are expendable. It's okay if some of them.
Well, their idea is you chose this job, you deal with it.
Right.
Unfortunately, I understand what they're saying, but that's not reality, because without them, who's going to do it?
Well, they found that out. You know, that's why everything up north in you know, New York, Wisconsin, California, when they defunded all of them, now they're having to pay twice as much to get them to go back. Yeah. And they're having to import from other states. Import's probably the wrong word, but recruit from other states,
right?
To fix the problem, because it doesn't work. You know, society doesn't work without law and order in whatever shape or form that is. Okay. And you can be, you know, liberal, independent, conservative. I don't care.
That's your business.
But law enforcement's law enforcement, and military is military. And it's, yeah, I mean, I'll never forget a conversation with a very good common friend of ours that, you know, when he was telling me about being in downtown Tampa when they had lit a sports store on fire and all that other stuff. It's just amazing to me. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. Like, that's happening in Tampa, of all places.
It's amazing because we wouldn't do it. It's not in our nature. We were again, we're not in predicaments that some may others may be in, but we were raised this way that we don't do this.
Right.
Our decision is our decision and it's final. We can't lay down and kick our feet up. We have to get over it, move forward, and grow up.
I can't imagine what would happen to you if you were part of that. Just knowing your dad. Your dad's like a black belt, and he's in his 60s, but he did a kick one time, and it was like right in front of my nose. I'm like, all right. I'm like, nah. I couldn't imagine what would happen to you.
I was raised obviously with the honor of respect, and I could never do it. It's not something that I would ever even think about doing.
Mm-hmm.
We instill it on our children. Just lead by God. Let him guide you, and hopefully you make the right decisions. That's it. There's no reason to go out and do stuff just to get attention. It's not going to get you anywhere. You know it. Yeah. I know it. It's not going to get you anywhere. So put our big boy pants on and go to work. Do our thing every day.
You wear the big boy pants, you do?
I have a 34 waist 34. Right now.
You grow a big boy. Big boy, very good.
I tried to lose the weight. Thank you.
You must lose the weight. No more wraps.
No.
No more gyro?
No.
Only soups?
I eat very good. The trainers tell me what to eat.
Oh, you do the BCMFs?
BCMF,
very good. The Jenny? Yes.
The Marias.
Marias, They're
very good.
Yeah, they're very good. They get you down to 34.
They make me, 33.
33?
I go from 36.
Oh.
I lose the weight.
You were chubby boy.
I was on the heavy side.
You were very chubby. Very good.
You can call it.
Okay.
I take the truth.
Okay.
Hi, Mike.
So
this guy.
If you had to give advice, you grew up. I mean, I don't know if you remember a time where you weren't working in a restaurant, but if you had to give advice to somebody today, because a lot of people moving here and in real estate, I deal with, I shouldn't say I deal with them. I talk to them all the time, and they come from other states and they want to open businesses here. So if there's a piece of advice that you could give to someone in your industry for running a restaurant, what would that be?
There's a lot.
I know.
There's a lot. And the restaurant industry is, you can't be cutthroat. That's number one. So in a community like ours, you have to be willing to help out. You can't say, we're going to save this and save that. Well, it doesn't work that way. You have to help your community. Maybe if we were in Manhattan, different ballgame, but where we are, Trinity especially, when a school asks you for a donation, you don't say no. You help that school out because that's somebody's child going there. Or my children. Look, I always say, somebody comes in and they bought a breakfast, whether it was $9, $10. Guess what? That went towards my daughter's dance, or that went towards my son's baseball glove. That comes in full swing, and we saw it through COVID. Everything we're willing to do, people gave back. So definitely, whatever it is, you help your community. Don't say, oh, well, we help this person, so you got to give us this. Just do it. Just wake up, go to work, be respectful, treat your customers like their family. Don't treat them like they're a number coming in. You have to realize without them, you have nothing. You don't have a home, you don't have a car, you don't have clothes, you have nothing. And a lot of businesses come in and, oh, we're so successful. We've had a great 2 years. Good. Congratulations. Try being in business for 19 years and dealing with every headache. Sometimes the inspectors aren't nice. They're very, they don't tell you certain things, and it's a struggle that we go through. Sometimes the inspector may come in and have a bad day. Well, you got to fight through that. Get over it. You're going to deal with it. Sometimes your food doesn't come in. It comes in 4 hours later. Now you're out of it. You got to figure it out. You always have to have a backup plan in the restaurant. You can't we can't say we're going to wing it the next day. COVID's taught us this because of an employee shortage. We have can't find employees. And everybody's always like, oh yeah, pay them more, pay them this, pay them that. We do pay. We pay our cooks and our back of the house very well. And I still can't get anybody to show up as it is. But you have to be, if you're going to survive in a community, you have to be willing to give everything you have to your community. That is 100%. Bigger cities, I can't tell you. I don't know. But in a community like ours, Trinity or New Parichi, whatever you want to say, you don't help your community, they're not going to help you.
When you become mayor, are you going to instill that? Like as part of businesses opening up and getting a license, like you have to help out?
No, I'm not saying you have to help out. What I'm saying is that you can't forget where you are. Okay. Our success is my dad's success. It's because of how our community is.
I like that you didn't dodge the whole becoming mayor thing, by the way.
We have we have a very tight knit community. I love our community, and I love everything that they're willing to do for everybody. And they did. They showed up for everybody in Trinity, all the businesses, and that's really the only thing I can tell you. And whatever you do, you hire local. So accountant. I'm not going to go out and hire somebody. Monica.
Mhm.
Monica's local. She does so much behind the scenes for everybody that nobody knows about. You know what I mean? So,
I know all too well what you mean. Literally the greatest accountant I could ever find.
Monica's
So glad that I found her.
I can call her any time of day. She answers. She never says no, and it's huge. Whatever you can do, you help somebody else's family out, whatever their business. Obviously, you've been a part of ours forever. For me, Constantine's the agent. That's the big dog. You're the wolf on the Wall Street. You know what I mean? But that's
But I wasn't.
No, you weren't. But you earned it. But you earned it.
But I earned it through the help of a lot of people. And you guys
again,
were
it's a network. We're in a big net. We are a network. And we have so many friends that are in every business.
Mm-hmm.
Bad mouthing a business is not going to help you. It always comes around. This is why I stay neutral to everybody. I am a friend of everybody's. I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to use this person. No, I'm going to send both numbers that I know are 10 numbers or 50 numbers to that same person who they choose is their business. But I'm not willing to just A1. But, when it comes to everything else, I open the door for everybody.
You mentioned something in the beginning of talking about this, is giving without the expectation of giving back.
Of course.
And so that's kind of like the new fad. And I know that, we've discussed it, and it's frustrating because Trinity is a very small place. And when you see people that are, the one thing that gets under my skin, and I genuinely really enjoy the company of some of the people that unfortunately do this, but it's, hey, look at me, look what I'm doing today. I'm all over here and I'm giving to this person. And all they're doing is trying to get self-gratification and or self-advertising for their business. You will never get that. I remember there was a restaurant locally that was trying to talk poorly about you guys. It was literally like a battle, but you guys sat back, just let them keep doing, and their business, I think didn't they shut down?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
I don't know.
They're not doing so good today. So, but watching that, sitting back, and it's like, why? And it's the one thing everybody always wants to attack.
It's always easier to attack somebody who's already, and there's always growth. For us, we're gonna get negative reviews. We're gonna get positive, and there's people are gonna say, oh, they're just doing it because they do it every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there was a time where we're like, I don't even know how we're gonna pay rent this week, and we're about to donate 500 meals.
Mm-hmm.
But that's nobody's business. We did it, and we gave, and that's what you do. You don't ask for it in return.
But the best part is, and you guys found this out, okay? So any business that comes in here needs to seriously listen to the last 5-7 minutes of this, because to me, that's the key to any business. Restaurants especially, okay? You go ahead and you give to your community. When COVID hit, and you guys literally were, I mean, it got dicey for a while.
Stressed out.
It got dicey. I remember having conversations with you and your parents.
Yeah.
It got really dicey for a while.
We went in the whole $200,000 like this.
Right. But at the same time, there's always the pendulum swings back. The boomerang's always going to come around. When that boomerang came back, which I believe, probably 6-8 months ago for you guys, your restaurant's packed. Now you guys have shortened your hours a little bit.
We wanted to be with our family.
Which you needed to, because it was getting to be a bit much staying there till 9 at night. Your dad was getting there at 4 a.m. making soups, all that good stuff.
It opened our eyes, with the loss of my mother-in-law and everything. That was a big loss for our family.
Yeah.
we were like, we need to dial this back and start enjoying what time we have left with each other.
Mhm.
Whether my dad, my mom, or our family in general. And it's not that it's easier now that we're closed at 3, but now you see the better things in life besides the business. You know, we never had that. My dad, his entire life, has been working till 9 o'clock at night.
Isn't it crazy it took you that long,
Yeah.
okay, as a family,
Yeah.
to realize that you have to, you don't want to work to live, you want to live, or
Yep.
sorry, you don't want to live to work, you want to work to live.
Right.
And you guys now have, little kids that your parents can enjoy and you guys can enjoy. And now you've shortened those hours. I'm pretty sure that you've stayed consistent
We
or
have.
above. And
We've
that's
been
because
very good.
of what you
But-
built.
That's what we built.
Yeah.
It is.
And that's a testament to you and your family and
is.
everything that you guys have given. And so I think that's probably a good part, a good point for us to kind of stop.
Yeah.
That's that's a pretty strong point to drive home, is that, you guys are the American dream. You guys are the success story of, giving and then getting back. And right now you're in the getting back phase, but you still don't stop. You're constantly regenerating your menu. You're trying out new things. You always put little dishes outside, and you have the new the power bowls and fresh breakfast things that come in. And so I think it's fantastic. But to be honest, for me, I'm grateful you came in here today. I'm hoping
I
to have
appreciate you having me here. You gotta have my dad here with you.
I want to have your mom and dad in here one day, because I'll tell you that I feel like I'm a part of your family, and I feel like it's been that way for a long time. And having that, the advice and being a part of the birth of your children and your your marriages and your weddings and all that stuff for the members of the family, it has meant more to me than I can ever put into words. And I'm so grateful, because I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for literally every member of your family. I've talked to you, Eric, your parents, your aunt and uncle up in New York. Yep. I mean, I feel like you guys are like family to me.
You are family.
And so,
family's not always blood. Remember that.
Exactly. So, I really appreciate you coming in, man. I love you like a brother. And I'm really looking forward to, to the next time. But thank you so much for spending the time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.